You ever walk into a room and just know, deep down, that folks have already decided you don't belong? That was me, 19, stepping into Haven Martial Arts Academy, clutching a pair of worn sneakers and nerves jangling in my pocket. Not a fancy guy in sight, just sweatpants and a cheap tee, because that's all I could afford after paying every dime I'd saved delivering pizzas all summer. I'm telling you, before I even set foot on the mat, Coach Riley spotted me. Big guy, arms crossed, eyes like daggers. "We don't accept people like you here," he shot at me, loud enough for the whole class to hear. I'll never forget how the laughter echoed, how a couple of the other students looked at me with that mix of pity and discomfort. But nobody said a word. I could feel every muscle in my body tighten, but I kept my chin up. "Sir, I paid. I want to learn. I just haven't gotten the uniform yet, but I'll get there," I said, keeping my voice steady, even though my heart was thudding. Riley just sneered. "This isn't charity. It's about respect and tradition. You show up dressed like that, you don't respect either." Then, just to make his point, he yanks me to the middle of the mat, tells everyone we're about to get a lesson in who belongs and who doesn't. "Attack me," he orders, arms wide, crowd staring. I tried to play it cool. "I'd rather watch first, coach." But he wasn't having it. Next thing I know, I'm face down, his arm twisting mine, pain shooting up my shoulder as he whispers, "Maybe you should stick to basketball or hip-hop." Laughter louder this time, but even then I could feel this tiny steel spark inside me refusing to break. What nobody saw was the dog tag slipping under my shirt. My uncle's, the man who taught me everything about patience and leverage, and not letting pride turn you bitter. Riley kept me off the mat for weeks, made me scrub floors, clean sweaty uniforms, wash the bathrooms, you name it. Whenever I did get to train, I was the dummy, tossed around for demonstrations, always the example of what not to do. And through it all, I just watched. I watched how his foot shifted, how he locked his hands, how the other students carried themselves, never missing a thing. Because what Riley didn't know was that I'd been learning Jiu-Jitsu since I was 5, behind closed doors, taught by the uncle he tried to ruin with lies. Yeah, that happened. It was Sarah, a purple belt, who actually had a heart, who pulled me aside one night. "Why are you letting him do this?" she asked. I looked at her and finally said what I hadn't told anyone. "My uncle, Elijah, Riley, ruined his name, made sure nobody would train with him again. I'm not here just to win. I'm here to show people who Riley really is." Sarah just nodded, no judgment, and said, "Let me help." Next thing I knew, we were sneaking off after hours to train with Coach Ramon, this old-school legend who didn't care about reputations, only heart. Ramon took one look at me sparring and said, "You're ready, but you gotta wait for the right time. Let him keep underestimating you. Let them all think you're nobody." A couple weeks later, Riley announces I'm signed up for the city tournament. Beginner's division, just to humiliate me. Says in front of the class, "Don't get your hopes up. He'll probably get knocked out first round." What he didn't know was that Sarah had helped submit my real tournament record. Turns out, I'm not in the beginner bracket. I'm matched against Riley himself in the advanced division. When he finds out, he corners me, spits. "You think you're clever? Did you cheat your way in?" All I said was, "No games, coach, it's just the truth." Showdown day, crowd packed, mats gleaming, tension thick as soup. I wore my uncle's old gi, the one with the faded patches and frayed collar, dog tags showing. I could see Riley's hands shaking as we stepped onto the mat. The bell rings. He comes at me like a freight train, but I'm calm. Slide out of his grip, take his balance. And in a move I learned at 6 years old, flip him hard and lock his arm tight. 14 seconds. 14 seconds. And he's tapping, face red with shock. The place went dead silent. Nobody believed what just happened. Then Coach Ramon steps up, says loud enough for everyone, "That's not luck. That's technique. Same as Elijah Thompson." Sarah pulls up a video on her phone. Riley years ago accusing my uncle of steroids. The tournament officials already know. Sarah's been sending them proof of his dirty tactics for weeks. Riley gets pulled off the mat, suspended on the spot. The academy scrambles to do damage control, but the students who used to mock me, now they're sharing their own stories about being pushed out, bullied, ignored. The whole place turns upside down in days. I got offers, big gyms, national teams, but I didn't want any of that. I wanted to build something real. So I stayed with Ramon and Sarah, helped turn that tiny basement into a community dojo, open to anyone who wanted to learn, no matter where they came from. We taught kids whose parents couldn't pay, athletes coming back from injury, kids who needed a place to belong. 6 months after the tournament, I got my black belt, the same one my uncle wore. Sarah started a rehab program for injured fighters, joined us full-time. The place felt alive, like hope could grow right there on those old mats. Then one rainy night, Riley showed up, thin, eyes tired. He waited until the last student left, then said, "I lost everything. I did it to myself. Your uncle was always better than me. I'm sorry." I just looked at him, saw the cracks in his armor. "We're starting a program for veterans next month. Need help setting up. You want a second chance? You gotta earn it." And for the first time, Riley looked grateful, not angry. A year later, that dojo is still standing, full of life. Riley's there, folding towels, helping out in the background, learning what it means to serve instead of control. I think about those 14 seconds all the time, how they changed everything, not just for me, but for everyone who watched. Sometimes it's not about winning or revenge. It's about showing the world what's possible when you refuse to let someone else define your worth. So tell me, if you were in my shoes, would you have forgiven Riley? Do you think folks like him really change? Have you ever been counted out, only to prove everybody wrong? I want to hear your stories. Drop them in the comments. Let's talk about what real strength looks like, because sometimes 14 seconds is all it takes to turn the world upside down.